Mesechta bava basra daf lamed amar aleph. We're starting from Chavtas Amid Beis, from where it says V'rami the Rava, V'rami the Rava, V'rami the Rav Nachman, 2 lines in the bottom. Yesterday we learned on Chavtas Amid Beis, the last line, second to the last line. Beis. Okay. Yesterday we learned that there was this person that said to his friend, "What are you doing in my house?" So the guy says, "I bought it from you. I have 3 years of chazakah. He says, "Really? You have 3 years of chazakah?" I lived in the house. The balabas says, "How do you have a chazakah?" I lived inside the house. I was in the basement. Or I was in the door. But the Ashbam says, "I even walked through your part of the house that you were living in." So how could it be that you have a chazakah? You don't even have a chazakah. So he says, they came before Rav Nachman. So Rav Nachman says, "Listen, you have to bring Eidim." He tells the one that's making a chazakah, "You have to bring Eidim that you were there exclusively. You were the only one that made the chazakah. The balabas wasn't there, because if the balabas was there, that's a mzach that he walked through there. It's a macha. It's not a chazakah." Rav says, "Really? Azay they didn't. Listen to he brought Eidim. He brought Eidim that he was there for 3 years. He's a muzik. Now you want to say you're breaking that chazakah? Do bring a raya. Somebody, the balabas has to bring a raya that he was living there. Just like by any muzik, when you're holding on to something and I want to take it out, so I have to bring a raya. Here he's a muzik because the Eidim came and testified. So so you have 2 psakim. Rav Nachman says the last line of Chavtas, 2 lines in the bottom. He had a tiny that he bought it. He bought it from him. Yeah, of course. So right now, according to Rav Nachman, who is the one that has to bring a raya? The seller, the balabas, the seller. We'll call him the seller. And according to Rava, who is the one? I'm sorry. According to Rav Nachman, who has to bring a raya? Is the buyer, the lekeach. We say because he has to bring a raya that he made a chazakah exclusively himself. It was himself, so it's the buyer. And according to Rava, who has to bring the raya? The seller. The seller has to bring a raya because he's a muzik. He had Eidim that say that he lived there for 3 years. So it's the seller has to bring a raya. So it says, no, because that's how you're going to understand the kasha only this way. We have a stira from Rav Nachman. We have a stira from Rav Nachman. Now, there was this person who said to his friend, "Kol nichsei devei bar sisim azabin alach." All the nechasim that you bought from bar sisim is sold to you. I'm selling it to you.
What, he was bar sisim?
No, he bought from Trump Tower. He bought Trump. So all the Trump towers that I bought, all the Trump condominiums that I bought, I'm selling to you. That's what he said.
Oh, he's selling to you?
He sold. He says, "I bought it. I bought it from Trump.
I'm selling to you.
I bought 50 condos.
A nice property.
Yeah, and it's called Trump. Beibar Sisson. This guy is called Beibar Sisson. Okay, and all those condos that are called Trump, I'm selling to you. All those condos that are called Beibar Sisson, I'm selling to you. Okay, that I bought, not called, that I bought from Beibar Sisson, I'm selling to you. Okay, so what happens? One of the karkas, he did not buy from Trump. He did not buy from Bar Sisson. He called it Bar Sisson. He called it, like, you have Trump towers that he actually built, and then you have Trump. That is name. You have just a name. Whatever. So it's not, so it's, no, it's not. Pull out so he says you have Bar Sisson. You have Bar Sisson that he actually bought from Bar Sisson, and then there was a karka that was just called Bar Sisson. So now Amalei Halav the Beit Bar Sisson. He says, but this you can't take this condo. This condo is not part of the package deal. It's not what I bought from Bar Sisson. It's just called Bar Sisson. So he's telling him that's not part of the deal.
He spoke out.
He told him later. This karka is not part of the deal. The Kriyahu the Mekaria Bar Sisson. It's only the Bay Bar Sisson. It's only called Bar Sisson, but it's not what I bought from Bar Sisson. It's still mine. They came before Rav Nachman. Ukma biyad of the lekeach. Rav Nachman said it belongs to the buyer. You understand? Because Even the property that's
Yeah, he say-
that it's only just called Bar Sisan, that he claims it's called Bar Sisan, it also belongs to him till he proves otherwise. He has to prove that it's just called Bar Sisan.
Now
It's
he
unusual.
has to bring up a price.
So who has to bring the
the
raya?
maker.
The Meich has to bring a raya. So what did Rav Nachman say before? Who has to bring a raya? The Rav Nachman said the Lekeh has to bring a raya that he had the exclusive rights. So it's a stira. Here on the late Rava Dina Hachi, Rava says that's the din. Rava says, what are you talking about? Who's the muhsik? Who's sitting on the Vei Bar Sisan? The Meicha. So he's the muhsik. So if you want to take it out, prove from the Meicha, prove that this he also bought from Vei Bar Sisan. Says you want to kasha the Rava, kasha the Rav Nachman. You have a stira from Rava and Rava, because before Rava said that who brings the proof, Rava says that the muhsik is the Meicha has to bring the proof that he was there. The Meicha, and here the Rava says who has to bring the proof, the Leikeach, and Rav Nachman the reverse. The Rava like kasha, Rava is nishkin stira. Hasam. He says you can't. Here it's a whole different. You can't compare. You have to look who's most thinking in the karka. There, in the case of Bar Sisan, the meicha is a muhsik in the karka. He's sitting on the field called Bar Sisan. But over here in our case, by Lekech was there 3 years. He was sitting there in the house. He has a chazaka. He's a muhsik. So he's also a muhsik. So therefore, it's not a stira. Sometimes the muhsik is the meicha, and sometimes the muhsik is lekeach. Here by Beit Bar Sisan, it happens to be the meicha is the muhsik, and there by the case of the story where he was there 3 years, the lekeach was the muhsik. Right? Sometimes it's lekeach, sometimes it's the meicha. The Rav Nachman no kasha. Rav Nachman is not a kasha. Keeping the Amalei the Vei Bar Sisan. Since the Meicha said to the Kohen, he's selling him all fields of Vei Bar Sisan, and this one was called the Vei Bar Sisan. Alei the day Ramyu legalui the Labnei Bar Sisan. He says here it's a whole different case. It's not. You can't compare it to a Muhsik. Here it's 90% of Pisvara that this field is the field that he bought from Vei Bar Sisan. You're making up a story. No, this field is just called Bar Sisan. You want to make up a story like that? Go bring proof.
He's the only one that knows that it's called that way.
Yeah, so bring proof. If you said you're selling all the Beit Bar Sisan karkas. Now you want to siphon off one property and say it's just called Beit Bar Sisan. It's not the one that I bought. So listen, you got to bring proof for that. It's unusual. But over here, by our case, when he was the Meicha was also in the house. When the Lekeach made a chazaka, so he says, look, forget about chazaka. Let's say he had a star. The Meicha had the Lekeach had a star that he bought it. The Meicha, if the Meicha would say to the guy who's holding to the Lekeach, the star is Mezuyif, would the Lekeach have to bring proof that the star is not Mezuyif? Sure. If you come, I come to you, I say it's my kaka, and you pull out a star. I say it's a false star. You would have to bring a raya that it would bring aid and be Mekayim the star. Al say here he's saying ich bin a muhsik. You're muhsik. I say it's not true. I was here also. So bring proof that you have a real chazaka. Just the chazaka takes the place of a star. Just like a star, you could question, and you're going to have to verify that it's a good star. So too the chazaka, which takes the place of the star. Somebody could question it and until he brings a raya that it was a good chazaka. So he says, "Lo yeh zil b'rei achilascha." Go bring a raya that you were there exclusively, that the balabas wasn't in the house. The balabas, Tanya he was. So if the balabas says your chazaka is a faulty one, it's not a real chazaka. So it's just like if it's taking the place of a star.
I was also there, right?
Yeah. If he would have had a star, and he would have told him the star is false, right? He would have had to verify.
You say that the pulse, still
Yeah, you have to be Mekayim the star. I have a right. I have a right to tell you it's false. You have to go in. Sure, you're gonna have to be Mekayim it. You have to bring Adam to be Mekayim it.
But also he's living there.
1 minute. So we're saying, let's say he wasn't living there and he had a star, and he would question the star. Would you have to verify the star? Yes. So now the chazaka is taking the place of a star. He's not using a star. He's using that he's a muhsik. The guy is questioning his chazaka. He says, you don't really have a chazaka.
What is the owner really saying? That I was also there? He has proof that he was also there?
Who? The balabas?
Yes.
He does. He has to bring proof. The one that the balabas could question his chazaka, he has to bring proof that the balabas wasn't there. Because just like if just like if he would have had a star, I could question his star. So too, I could question his chazaka. Yeah. La yehei, only if you're taina chazak sheim. Here, a squatter doesn't have to give a taina. He just has to say, I'm here. And here, then it belongs to me. Here, in the Torah, a chazak.
30 days, you didn't make a machor.
That's not good enough. A chazak has to be with a taina, that you bought it from. And the chazak is a proof that I don't have my star. I'm here 3 years. I didn't watch my star. That's why it's not here. So he says, "Lo yehiyel the nakat star. Chazaka should be just like a star. Me lo yamin le kaim star by a star. Wouldn't you say, if I tell you the star is false, wouldn't you have to verify the star? The kum b'nichse and then go into nechasim al derazeh. The chazaka, I can tell you, chazaka is faulty. Yeah, we're starting a new case. There was this person that's in the middle of the page by the two dots. Yeah. What?
In other words, Rav Nachman says you have to be proof that you're a true
mulsik. Yeah.
So, and what does Rava say?
Rava says, look, he's already a full mulsik because he has eidim that he was there. This guy claims I don't. He says I don't know. Let him bring proof. I'm a mulsik, just like by any mulsik. Is hamitz mechaver olamanaya? No, somebody who's a mulsik hamitz mechaver olamanaya. There was this person that said to his first friend, my base behind base. What are you doing in my house? I'm alay. I bought it from you. Not only did I buy it from you, I'm here 3 years. It's mine. 3. I ate their years of chazaka, which is 3. Amalei. So the Ma'ar says, how should I have known that you did? I'm not a businessman. I'm busy with the markets. I go distant places. So, and in the distant places, I would know that you're making a chazaka only if it's places where shayoris mitzuyis, that the people are traveling back and forth. But I went to like Hicksville, where the chazaka I would never hear about that you're making a chazaka. So I wouldn't know to make a macha. But Taka, if it was a place where people travel, we would say that he should have known that he's making chazaka. Just like by macha, we learned yesterday, you can make a macha wherever you are. Why? Because chavach, the chavach is word gets around. But that's only in a place where the shayaris matzuyas. But where people are traveling. It doesn't have to be close. People are traveling. But here, nobody was traveling. We used to go to faraway places where nobody would travel. Zok the Gemara, so I didn't know about you making chazaka. Amalei, the Machzik said, what are you talking about? I have eders that you came every year to town and you saw me in the house. Where were you? You were in your second house. You went to sleep in your second house. But you knew I was making a chazak in the house. He doesn't have the shtar. He says, I'm there 3 years. Every year you came for 30 days to town. And he would see, so he has edus that he was in town. The Marsik has edus that this guy came to town, so he should have made a machar right there. Right. Where did he stay? So the Hasbam says he had another house. So the Gemara, yeah, I'm a late plus in Yoimei. He says 30 days that I came. You think I'm going to look at my house? I was preoccupied in the marketplace buying and selling. I had no time. I'm not going to look if somebody's living in my house. I'm all preoccupied with the business.
So he really didn't live in this house?
He had a second house, yeah. Amar Rava says, he's right. Ovid inish the chotlas and yemen tarit b'shuka. It is the derech of people to be preoccupied in the market when the market is going on for the 30 days. That's how it was. And it's possible that he didn't know nothing. He didn't see anything. He's busy.
So what does anybody know? Is there Eidos that he lived
There's
there?
Eidos that he came to town. But the time that he came to
The
town,
one that lived there, did he have Eidos that he lived there 3 years?
he has that too.
Yeah.
But that's not good enough. He has to say that he knew about it, that the Balabas knew about it, that he should have been Meicha. It's not enough that he has
No,
Eidos.
he has a taina that he bought it, and I also have
I have a
3 years,
chazaka.
3 years.
But the Balabas Ketaina, I never knew about the chazaka.
I'm a traveling guy.
A traveling guy, and plus the time. So he says, but you came to town.
That proof that you
He
came.
says, I have proof that you came. But he says
busy,
those
busy.
30 days,
I was busy.
I was busy, and Rava says that's normal.
That's a new one.
So that he should know about it to be able to make a
So we knew
macha.
that he owned this house once upon a time, right?
Yeah. He still feels.
Because he's minded that it was his house, because he said, I bought it from you.
Yeah.
So he's minded that it was your house.
Correct,
That's
correct.
the point.
Yeah.
If he wouldn't have said that,
Doesn't matter. No, we know he
that's a taina for the
maybe
owner.
the owner has a deed from before, but he can never.
No, but he said to him that I bought
Yeah,
it.
he
from
bought
you.
it, so-
I
but
know-
he-
I'm admitting that it was yours once upon a time.
Yes. Okay, Zok Yumara. Another case. Hahu de Amalei Lechavrei. There was this person that came and said to his friend, "My boys Bahayar, what are you doing in this land? In this karka?" Amalei, the Masik said, "Meplanya Zavita, I bought it from Shimon." Reuven comes to Levi, and Reuven tells Levi, "What are you doing here?" Levi says, "What do you want? I bought it from Shimon." And he says, "Here's my star." He has a star.
Well, whose karka was it? It was Reuben's karka.
It was Reuven. It's Levi says he bought it from Shimon.
He doesn't know
Reuven
what's
says, "I don't know what you're talking about. It's my karka. Get out of here." And Levi shows up, "Star, I bought it from Shimon." He says, "That's good. We'll go to Shimon. It's not your karka. It's my karka." Reuven says. Now the Rashbam says, even if he would have had a chazaka of 3 years, right? If he would have had a chazaka for 3 years, it would be a chazak sheni motaina. Because what does he say? L'chayda, if he had a chazaka, it should be his. We say it's not going to be his. And he says he bought it from Shimon and he has a chazaka. It's not, that's a chazaka without a taina. Because Shimon is not the owner. Reuben is saying, I'm the owner. So
How does Reuben prove that he's the owner?
So here's the
Reuben,
guy.
because he was made there. Look, Amalei, at lav, komedas, the high out of the dihi. Are you there not made that this cock is mine? So he was made there.
Oh, that you own
That
the
the one that's making a chazaka now was made that it belonged to. He doesn't know it's Yama. It belonged to Reuben.
But I bought it.
But I bought it from Shimon. And Reuben says whoever you bought it from is a ganef, whatever. Yeah. But at lo yizevantim, you didn't buy it from me. Zil, you go. You have nothing to do with me. I have nothing to do. I'm the owner. Get out of here. So even if he would have had a chazaka with a star, it's nothing because it's a chazaka without a taina. Because his taina is I bought it from
We know
Shimon.
that the first person was always the owner.
Right, but here the problem is even though he has a chazaka, and he says also I bought it from Shimon. It's not going to chazak sheni
Did you
taina.
learn someplace that if a guy stays for 3 years in one place, it automatically becomes chazaka?
It's a chazaka
When
only
you buy it.
if he tainas that he bought it from him. But he says he bought it from Shimon, not from Reuben.
You have to have a good timing.
But so the Hashbam gives 2 exceptions to the case. The Hashbam says if he says, "Listen, I bought it from Shimon, I have a chazaka, and I saw Shimon buy it from you in front of me," that's one exception. Another exception would
So
be
it's not even always a Shimon.
it's right. Another exception that he could say belongs to Shimon, if he says, "I bought it from Shimon, and I know Shimon lived there at least a day." So once he says Shimon lived there a day, so then there's an Indian from Taninon. We had it before, and we're going to have it on Lamed Ches or Mem. So it says Taninon. We time best in Tainas. If he was there for a day, if the Lekeach now, right now, made a chazaka or has a star that he bought it from Shimon, and he says Shimon was there for a day, then Bezin takes over from there and says to Reuven, "You're saying it's yours?" Well, Shimon was there. Maybe Shimon was there for 3 years. Shimon has a chazaka. Reuven is going to have to start producing that he didn't sell it to him.
So why do we believe Levi? Why do you believe Levi that? Because he says that Shimon lived there a day.
Yeah.
Why do we believe him?
We will believe him. That's it.
Why?
That's the halacha. So we can verify if Shimon lived for a day also.
If we can verify that Shimon
But it
lived
doesn't.
there.
He doesn't say that. I'm just saying.
No,
Here he
just
says
because he
all he
taina.
has to taina is that Shimon lived for a
Then we
day.
said, then we can understand.
Then it's a real taina. It's chazak sheyeshimo taina. That's what he wants to say.
So what's the difference if it was there, he's there, he's not?
If he's there a day, and
He
he,
just
but
sold him the carcass. What is it?
he sold him the carcass, but
So
the
why is
buyer
he
is
there for a day?
saying, no. Reuben says it's not his. He stole it from me. But if lady says I know Shimon was there for a day, so he couldn't have
I
stolen
don't
from
think- I
you.
think he has to do
So
something.
taninon. Here, I'll bring it. If you want, you can look in base. Im yesh lemasik edem sheise pleine shemach le hirse bekaka zman kotza afilu yoy mechad. במקרה זה בזדין טוענים עבור המחזיק sheise pleine achen kones akaka mamara.
But it means
Then
that he has
Bezdin
proof
will-
that he lived there a day.
Right, Bezdin will
Not just
take
because
over.
he's- Not just because he tied
If it was Shimon himself against Reuben, then Shimon would have to bring proof. But now that it's Levi who bought it from Shimon, and Levi says that Shimon was there for a day, then Bezdin kicks in. The Bezdin kicks in for Levi.
He says it or he brings proof that he's in.
No, he says it. He just has to say it. It's Chazak Sheish Motayna. So Gemara, Rabba says, Amar Rabba Dina Kamale. Hitaka, the Ma'ara could tell that he tells him, get out of here. About Dvar de Diat. This star that you have is worthless. You have a star that Shimon bought it from you. I never sold it to Shimon. Shimon stole it. So please leave. I have nothing to do with you. So another case. There was this person who said to his friend, my boy is Bahayara. What are you doing in this land? Amalei, the master said, I bought it from, again. Levi says, I bought it from Shimon, and Reuben is coming for the karka. And not only that, Levi says, I ate 3 years of a chazaka.
Same case before. Right?
Yeah.
7 years, okay.
Amalei, Planya Gazlano. He says that person is a Gazlan.
Okay.
Amalei. So the machzik, the one that's currently making a chazaka, he says, what? But isli sadi da asai imlachi bach v'amatali zilzvin. I have witnesses that I came to you for advice. Should I buy this karka? You from Shimon, and you Reuven gave me the advice I should buy from
Now
Shimon.
you're coming and saying it's
And now
mine.
you're saying it was stolen? What kind of? So he says, Amalei, so he says, no, the Gemara still is believed that the Shimon stole it from him. Why? Because he says, Hasheni noyachli. You're not such a big spitzter. I know I could fight you. I'm winning court. But Shimon, Arishain, Kashem, yeah, he's too tough. Could you imagine? I have to deal with Trump. No, then I have a Kayukal who bought it off Trump. No, I got you to buy it off. Who's Trump
So
stole
I
it from
gave you
me?
false advice?
I gave you false advice, but that's how business goes. That's business.
You have a problem, but she has seen it.
No, but it says you're still over lifnei even lesit michshel. He brings down that you're still going to be over lifnei even lesit.
So I can tell somebody, oh, go buy it, you know.
Go buy it
Oh,
because
go buy this stock and you're gonna lose money. I'll make a commission, you know.
no, that's not. No, here you're talking about you want to get back your karka. The karka is stolen. I'm advising you to buy a stolen piece of karka because I know
But you
for
don't
me
lose
to
money,
get it
though.
from the guy from the Goslin himself is going to be a tough time. I might as well convince
buy
you
it.
to buy it.
And I'll take it
Then
from
I'll
you.
take it away from you like
But
nothing.
Shimon is a tough guy, so what is Levi gonna do?
Levi's gonna no. So Levi buys it from Shimon with the advice that Reuben gave him,
Yeah, and
because Reuben didn't want to fight with Shimon because Shimon is too tough.
So, but Levi
So-
could fight with Shimon.
No, so now Reuben sees he has now an easy ride. He'll take it away from Levi like that.
So
So
they
what is
say,
Levi gonna do?
Levi's gonna he's gonna have to go for he's gonna hold fight with Shimon.
so they say Reuben's not so stupid.
No, Amarava Dina Kamale. He tells him that he's right. He's allowed to do that.
He's allowed to do the
It's
shit?
not he's allowed to do. He's not allowed to do. But if he did it, he can't. He has the right to do it.
Because that's,
Meaning,
that's gonna-
not the right. He doesn't have the right. It's not a proof that he doesn't own it. Reuben still owns it, and Reuben that he said that he gave the advice to Shimon to Lev to buy from Shimon is it
We have
could
to
be
find out
we
if he's
trust
such a
that
person.
that's what happened.
Well, we have to find out.
We
if
trust
he's-
that's what
No,
happened.
we have to find out if he's such a person that always, does the reila.
He's not Dreidlach. He got stuck and he convinced a friend to buy it. So you want to come on, kid Admai. Yeah, so we said before that is the Isa of Lifnei Eva. Says the Gemara, Keman Kadmon. Like who is it following? Like Kadmon. It's not that we learned in the Mishnah. Abal Allah Hasoda. Somebody who argues on the balabatishkeit of the soda that's in the hand of his friend, and he says it's mine. V'chasum aleha be'ed, and he signed. He himself signed. Ruvain, and Ruvain comes to Levi and he says, Levi, this karka is mine. So Levi says, no, I bought it from Shimon. He says, how could you? So you bought it, and I have a star that I bought it from Shimon, and you were the aid.
Oh, you were there.
Yeah, Reuben, you're saying it's yours, and you were aid that I bought it from Shimon, that it was authentic, authentic sale. Adman says that this is business. Same idea. Sheni Noyachli says the reason why I signed as an aid because I know you're much easier to get back my kaka from. From the first guy that you bought it from, tough cookie. But the Chachamim, but that's not the halacha. The Chachamim say ibeit es chusei. Since he signed it, he lost his chusei.
Because he wants the advantage from an innocent victim.
Yeah, that's so far. But in the first case where he didn't sign, says the Gemara, afilu temer abana. You don't have to say like we said it follows admin a yochid. We could say the first case that Rava Paskin Dina Kamalei that what Reuben Steiner was, that the reason why I advise you to buy it from Shimon because it's easier for me. So he was saying even according to Rabbanan, afilu temer abana, it could even be going according to Rabbanan. It doesn't have to be like admin who says if he signs as an aid, nevertheless he has a taina and Rav Chachamim say not. So it comes out. It doesn't come out like the Chachamim. So he says no. Afilu temer abana. It can even go according to Rabbanan. Hasam avid le ma'isa. By the case of Adnoin, the guy did an action.
He signed.
He signed. So that's different. Aval hacha. But over here, the Buddha. Here is just words. Words of it inish the mikri. By words, it's the derech of a person to bluff when it comes to words.
When it comes to business,
But action to go ahead and sign the paper, that's not permitted. It's not done. I mean, we're not going to give him the schus. That's what the Chacham say. Yeah, the halacha is that when he actually signs, he loses his chusim of being able to say, "Oh, I signed it because it was easier for me to go after you than to go after the first guy." Once you sign and he did an action, the halacha is that you lost his chusim. But by dibur, perhaps the halacha is, according to the Chachamim, that he could say that.
It's not so simple. You go to Din Torah and we can fight it out.
Yeah, okay. But
what's going to help with the
okay.
Oh,
Okay,
Torah.
don't start him. You got him talking good. Okay,
Sounds good.
there was this.
And we believe him.
Okay, let's move on. There was this person who said to his friend, "My boys, what are you doing in this land?" Malay. So he says to him, "The planyas of Inta, I bought it from." He tells Reuben, "I bought it from Shimon. And I ate there for 3 years."
Same case, all the cases
Yes,
start the same way. Right?
start off the same way. Amalei. So the Ma'ar, the one that's arguing, says, "Planya Gazlanu." The person who you bought it from is a Gazlan. Amalei. So the Machzik says, "What are you talking about? He's the Gazlan." But Isli Sadei the horses be ordered to Amatali Zman in Ali. I have Adim that you came to me by night and you offered to buy the karka for me. If it was yours, why would you offer to buy it for me?
Oh, after I already bought it from
I
Shimon.
bought it, and now Reuben you're claiming to me you bought the karka. He says, "How can you say you bought the karka? It's your car. You're the owner. You came yourself, Reuben. You came last night, and you asked me. You offered money to buy it." Says the Gemara Amalei. He says, "Listen, Amina Esben Denai." He says, "I was ready to buy it because I want the karka. I didn't want to go through the whole court system, and it's better to avoid din tayr." So he says, "I'll pay for it. I'll be in this game, so din tayr, and I'll buy it back." He didn't want to fight with Shimon. He says, and that's why I offered you, Levi.
That's why
I need the karka back. So I offered you money,
Even though I lose money, I
even
lose-
though it's mine. It's
Well,
really mine.
But
But I, instead of going through all to Beslan and file legal courts, I'll just buy it and finish. It might even be cheaper, yeah.
That's worth it.
Beslan. Amarava Avadin is the Zavdin. The other says it does happen that people are ready to offer money
Even though it's their
to
car.
avoid
What's also the
Din
Dine,
Tayus.
the boy court cases.
Dine. The Zavin that people buy things to avoid from having to go to
All the
Din.
business, they always make
Even though
settlements,
it's
big
no
cases,
car
big
case,
settlements.
Yeah, he just wanted to get. He wanted the car and not go through Din to a Din Tayus.
No, it's in a sense the settlement, he gives him the money and I get my car back.
I'm buying karka that I already own. I'm paying a second time. There was this person who said to his friend, "My boys, what are you doing in this land?"
Everybody same thing.
Amalei mi planya zavina. So Levi says, "I bought it from Shimon," and Reuben is coming and says, "What are you doing in my karka?" And he says, "V'achalti shnei chazaka." I bought it from Shimon, and I was there for 3 years. Amalei. So the ma'ara, the owner, says, Shimon. I'm sorry, Shimon says. The previous owner says, I have a star. Shimon says, I bought it from Reuben 4 years ago, and you're saying you have a chazaka 3 years, so I really own it. I'm there already, I have a star from 4 years ago. And you're claiming you have 3 years of chazaka. I have a year before you bought it.
Levi saying I bought it from Shimon.
Levi says, I bought it from Shimon LaMashal.
No, Reuben came.
And I'm here for 3 years, and Reuben is saying it's mine.
Yeah, what's his title?
So Reuben says, I bought it from
Yeah,
Shimon
there's a star.
4 years ago. You're saying you bought it from Shimon and you have 3 years of chazaka. So Reuben says, no, I have a star that shows I bought it 4 years ago. So I'm before you.
Oh, so what's the case?
I'm a lay. So he says, me sabris. Do you then think Shnei Chazaka when I said I 8 years of Chazaka, Shnei Kamina, do I mean Dafka 3 years? Shnei Chazaka Tuba Kamina, I mean it can mean much more than 3 years.
Just because you say you have it 4 years.
Yeah, this is a Chiddush because it's like Kiddush Shehigat Shuvei Nechayz Magid. It's like he first said 3 and now he's changing it to more years.
It means I had the years of Chazaka.
So he says, the Chiddush here is when he uses the word years of Chazaka, Shnei Chazaka, it doesn't have to mean 3 years. It can mean much more years.
He didn't say 3 years. He said
No,
years
he didn't
of
say
Chazaka.
3 years. If he would have said 3 years, he can't come back with a new taina. But here he said years of Chazaka, it could mean that it was taka much more. Amar Rava.
So it wasn't black. So it wasn't black.
Amadut. Avide inshe de karel shnei tuv shnei Chazaka. Rava paskin taka. When somebody says years of Chazaka, it means many more years.
More than 3 years.
And v'hani mili, and this is all talking about the Achol HaShava. He had to eat, have a Chazaka of 7 years. Why? The Kodem Chazaka the Hashtar the Hach. Because he has a star from 4 years ago. So in order to say he had a Chazaka before the star, so you had to have 3 years before the star. So that's why you had to be there for 7 years.
He meant 7 years.
He meant 7
Ask
years.
him.
Avol shis, amanut. But if it was 6 years, ein lecha macha gedei lemizah. If it mizu, but if it's 6 years, there's no greater macha, because if he sold it in the 3rd year from his chazaka, if Shimon sold it, Levi claims he bought it from Shimon, and he's there for 6 years.
Reuben said,
And Reuben says, I have a star from Shimon
4 years ago.
after the 3rd year. No, we're saying shits. If it would be 6 years of
What does
chazaka,
Reuben say?
Reuben says, I have a star that I bought it 4 years ago.
Right.
So if it was 7 years that he was there, so he has a full 3 year chazaka before.
that.
But if he says it's 6 years,
So it's still.
so the 3rd year he has a star that he bought it, there's no bigger macha than that.
So he's making
So that's after 2 years he made a macha. I'm selling it. Everybody knows I sold it. You should have said something. Should have watched your star if you really bought it. Okay, we'll stop over here.
That's it?
Yeah.